Hello everyone, Maurice and welcome to Tanks Invest, where we talk about investing, finance, and professional development. For today's video, 10 minutes only. The investment we're going to talk about today would be Ethereum and Bitcoin. With respect to on Wednesday, June 9th today, across the whole cryptocurrencies market, it seems like it's a relatively bullish day today. With respect to Bitcoin, it's up about 11% so far, and with respect to Ethereum, it's currently up about 5% so far. While on the opposite spectrum, on the equity market, it seems like it's experiencing some more of a bearish pressure at the moment. And what this really translates into, the anticipation for the CPI report that's coming out tomorrow, it seems like the investment sentiments across Wall Street and public investor is that they're going to be anticipating a relatively negative report coming up tomorrow, which, cryptocurrency is a form of safe haven, is driving the price for crypto to be going up today. So tomorrow is a relatively large catalyst, that will be pretty substantially influential, to the crypto market or the equity market, right? So something we really need to look out for. So I'm gonna go through analysis and how we should be strategizing on what's the game plan for tomorrow, right? How should we play this market for tomorrow with this like pretty substantial volatility we'll be experiencing going forward. So stay tuned, stick around, let's make some money. Alright, so moving on to the technical analysis real quick, let's just look at the equity market real quick. Looking at SPY, which is the S&P 500, you can see that we're kind of just hovering away right now, trading around like the 422.5 level. Relatively, more of a flat day today, and in respect to like the Nasdaq as well, you could see we kind of sold off ever since that 14,000 peak, right? And we kind of been just trading on a more of a bearish downward level, right? And with respect to on the opposite just position spectrum, you can see that Bitcoin is currently up about 10%, like I said. Ethereum is up about like 4.5% so far. Even Dogecoin is up about 4.5% so far. While Tesla and NEO are both down at the moment, right? Which NEO is a growth stock. At the same time, it's the EV stock, which have a little bit more of a negative pressure in comparison to Tesla, which is more like an index characterized type of stocks, right? Which is trading comparable to like the SPY, right? Which is S&P 500 as an overall index fund, right? So how do we play tomorrow, right? I think it's going to be two scenarios, right? So for tomorrow, based on current consensus right now, based on Wall Street consensus and investment sentiments across the board right now, it seems like the CPI report, the anticipation for the outcome of this report is relatively bearish at the moment, right? People are not really anticipating anything that is going to be, leaning more off the positive spectrum, right? They anticipate more like a lukewarm, report comparable to like the ones that we've had in the last three consecutive reports we've had, right? And every single time we have like this slight kind of pump ahead of the week, that of the report of the release on the Thursday, and then subsequently sell off from there, right? And I foresee that it's gonna be some sort of comparable momentum is gonna be happening for tomorrow, right? Knowing the fact that the equity market is down today, so I foresee tomorrow if the report comes out more negative than Wall Street expectation, obviously the equity market is going to dump, right, significantly. And with respect to cryptocurrency, which is a form of safe haven, it's going to pump up, right? And if we pump up, the next level for like Ethereum will be going up to the $2,750 level with no doubt. That's like the firm resistance level that would consolidate on a sideways fashion. And I think that's the highest we could reach to. Or if we have an even more negative report, we might even get to like the 2,800 or even $2,916 level, which is the second resistance level, right? But I don't think we will actually test the $3,000 level because that will be a relatively big pump. And I think because of the fact that there is a lack of substance at these levels, that for us to get there, it will require pretty an extremely substantive negative CPI report for us to get there, right? And we have to basically dump a lot of Tesla and NEO and a lot of growth stocks at the same time for us to get there, right? And on top, and then with respect to Bitcoin, I think if we have a again right negative report, we'll go up all the way to the 3,008, like the $38,000 level or the $37,500 level to be most precise, and then we will kind of hover from there if we have a really negative report. So it's kind of like a $2,500 swings upstream for both for Bitcoin and about I would say Yeah, about comparable, about like $300 at the minimum to $500 off a swing up for tomorrow if we have a really negative CPI report, right? But if we have a very positive report, obviously people are going to be loading up on the equity side, which is just makes sense, right? If you know that the report is coming out is indicating or foreshadowing more of a positive outlook for the economy going forward, people are going to more likely invest into growth stocks, right? Most of the time, or the more of the safe haven stocks, like type of or large cap stocks, that most people prefer to invest in. And in that effect, you will subsequently incentivize some investors, which most of the time are more short term, to liquidate their crypto holdings, right? Because again, right, crypto holding is a form of safe haven. So when you feel more secure about your security of the economy going forward and your cash balance going forward, you're less incentivized to hold it into more of a safe haven stock, right? Or an investment vehicle like a cryptocurrency, like a Ethereum or like a Bitcoin, right? So if that was the case, right, I think if we have a really positive CPI report, right, or just like a positive report overall that is a little bit better than the ones that we've had consecutively in the past, or we just have some sort of like a surprise that people, like, oh, is not that disappointing. Is we're actually trending in the right directions. I think just something minimal like that tweaks people's mind into giving them some sort of like optimism in just a slight way. Crypto market is going to dump a little bit. And I think with respect to the level that we're at right now, I know that we are currently up about 5% on Ethereum and we're up about 10% right now. But I think we're just going to be consolidated on a sideways fashion going forward. So if we dump, right, we will basically go back down to the 2,450. And I think the likelihood of like breaking down to like the 2,150 would be likely because of the fact that that's like a strong resistance level that we've had. And with respect to the levels of adoptions and utilizations going forward, I don't foresee us to be having any major seismic affectations to the supply and demand dynamics for this cryptocurrencies either. That the swing will be within these levels again, right? I keep mentioning like the for Ethereum, the north level would be the 2,750, the south level would be the 2,150 or 2,450, which is where we're currently at right now. So we're in the middle ground right now for Ethereum. But if we have a really positive report, that's where we're going to be going to. Okay, so for Bitcoin, if we have a really positive report, right, I think the next level will go down to basically the 30,000, 3,400, 34,500 as the first level to test. And if we have an even more positive report where people are like just like buying or loading up on growth stocks because the outlook just seems so promising based on how the report comes out, that is a possibility that we will dump all the way down to like $30,000 level, right? So that's something to be mindful of, right? So the swing is relatively large for Bitcoin. I think the swing is about on the minimum about like $3,000, but on the maximum will be about like $6,000 on either upside or downside. And for Ethereum, it's going to be somewhere around like $400 on the downside, and about like $400 on the upside as well. So it's kind of even on the Ethereum spectrum. And with respect to like how do we hedge that, right? If you have only cryptocurrencies in your position, I think you just need to be mindful of the dollar cost averaging perspective. Like don't have some cash balance on the side despite like pumping or dumping tomorrow. It's just a form of risk mitigations, right? But if you have equity holding in your portfolio, right, I think either dip for tomorrow, either on the equity side or on the crypto side, would be an opportune time for you to buy in tomorrow because these type of reports have occurred consecutively in the past, and every single time it rebounds subsequently, and this is the reason why we have this like oscillation that we've had in the past. So this is how you swing trade, right? This is like the fundamental principle of swing trading, right? And with this like seismic catalyst that's going to be happening across the market today, this is like a very simple swing trade method that if you were to see the equity market dump, buy on that dip, and then subsequently ride it up to go back to the normal cadence in a week or so to gain some like short-term profit. Same thing happens if the crypto market dumps tomorrow. Buy at the levels that I've identified for you guys for both Bitcoin and Ethereum. and swing trade it all the way back up to the oscillation level that we've had on the peak level for short term gains from there, right? But ultimately, for me, I think tomorrow I'll be just buying either side. If we're dumping on the crypto market, I'll be dollar cost averaging on Ethereum or Bitcoin. If we're dumping on the equity market, I'll be buying obviously on the growth stocks and the fundamental stocks that I personally invested heavily or have a strong conviction in. So hopefully that's helpful in terms of how you strategize going forward. And that's the plan that I'm going forward tomorrow. And feel free to reach out if you have any questions or if I'm not being clear with you guys.